we begin tonight in the depths of a Castillian jail just outside the town of San Juan. There, atop the cliffs, stands this squat, solidly built stone tower, with barred windows overlooking the churning sea beneath. And up on the second floor of the jail, in the cell at the far end of the corridor overlooking the sea, is where they keep their condemned prisoners, the ones that are not getting out of here, except to take a trip to the gallows. And here, chained to the wall, is the man who they don't really know what to do with. They've manacled one of his hands to the wall, but they never managed to get the other one manacled in. They had to back away before they could get that in place. They feed him cautiously by shoving a bowl of gruel through the door and then backing away swiftly, because they know that if you could lay a hand on them, this man is very dangerous.
Yeah, I think it. Oh no, I
Please
think
introduce
that.
yourself.
So, shackled to this wall is a 6'10" mound of muscle, and Anger, who is suspiciously calm, eyeing the door, um, waiting for his opportunity to catch one of the guards unaware and then smash their head against the brick wall.
Yes, yeah. The breath of a man. So, Einar, in your cell, you can see there is a solid wooden door with this metal grating high up in it. In the opposite wall, there is a small window set high in the wall and barred with solid-looking iron bars. Through that window, you can hear the sound of the sea outside slapping against the cliffs below. You're not entirely sure how long you've been here. Probably days, weeks. The time has started to blur together. Well, it's up to you who you tell how you got in here and how you hope to get out, but it has been a long while. And it is on a fairly ordinary, let's call it a dark and stormy night, when you hear the sound of boots in the hall outside the cell. This is strange, it's not normal meal time, they don't usually bring any food at this hour. But you hear the sound of boots approaching and the jangle of a set of keys. And the keys turn in the lock, and with a creak, the door swings open. And in the entrance of the door, you see the chief jailer, a man who seems to have taken a particular dislike to you. He's this pinch-faced Castillian man with a stub nose and a scar running down one side of his face. And he glares at you as he opens the door, but keeps his distance. Behind him, you see a couple of his assistants, we could call them brutes, who serve as guards here. Between them, they're carrying another man who doesn't look to be in the best of condition. He has been stripped of his arms, he's been stripped of, his jacket, anything that could conceivably be seen as a weapon. He's hanging between these two brutes. And Antonio, describe what Einar would see.
Well, Antonio's probably about a third of the size of him. He's about 5'7", quite sort of lithe, slim-looking, more a swashbuckly type character. Shoulder-length dark hair, small beard, nothing fantastic. He just looks average, other than rather live, and somebody could get away very quickly, given the chance.
Right. So The jailer looks to his men and says, "Chuck him in there. If the Vesten kills him before morning, then well, it'll save us the rope." And
As soon as they say the
fling Antonio
Vesten,
down and forward. Yeah.
as soon as they say the Vesten and kill him, he'll instinctively look to Antonio, but then take this as an opportunity that their uh, attention is off of him and more so focusing on throwing down Antonio. He is going to try and test the shackle in the wall, but more so trying to startle them, but also
Okay.
trying to see if he can um, free himself.
Are you actually trying to break free in this moment? Or are you
No,
just trying to
it
worry them? Or you're just testing if it could be broken free?
testing if it could, but also trying to intimidate them.
Okay. You give a tug on the thing. You know that with enough force you could potentially break this free, but there would be a risk in sense of you would be about to start a fight here and now with them, and you
Mhm,
might injure yourself in the process.
mhm.
Is this a risk you want to take now?
Now, no. Possibly in the future, yes.
Okay, so you know this is something you could try, and you think with enough force that maybe, yeah, you could pull this free. But
I've got an idea as well. If, so whilst and I was trying to just basically,
well, you just give it a rattle, and the guards look with alarm, and then take a step back,
as
and
soon
they
as
sort of they're reaching to close the door now. Like,
whilst the
As
guards are distracted, I want to see if I can actually try and pick their pockets and take something off them. Even just a brooch, just a small metal item that can be used potentially to pick something.
all right, yeah,
Whilst they're
as
distracted.
I was gonna say, as soon as they make that momentary step backward and they're kind of off guard, that's when Einar wants to actually take the risk and attempt to.
okay.
Po-
So you guys are actually starting this off with a bang. You're
Oh,
trying to pick a pocket, and you're trying to break free of your shackle in this moment. So how this goes will depend. There's not an action sequence yet. If you break free, this may be about to turn into one. We shall see. But I'd like you both to uh, pick your approaches here. Decide what you're going with. So, Einar, what uh, what would you like to use here to try and break free? Let's see. What trait
Could
and skill are you going for?
thinking as part of this is for intimidating them if he can't pop it off, but then also just using his brute strength. Could I do intimidate and brawn?
Okay, if your aim here is to, yeah, sort of, if your main aim here is essentially to intimidate them and get them to back away, you can use intimidate. If your main aim, I'd say, yeah, let's go for intimidate and brawn for now. So you add up what you've got in intimidate and what you've got in brawn, roll it, and count up how many raises you can get. Meanwhile, Antonio, what would you like to use to try and pick their pockets?
well, I'm guessing it'll be theft is probably the most obvious.
Yes,
That tends to be
does
anything
seem
like
appropriate.
locking. Probably finesse as well.
Okay, theft and finesse. Add up what you've
I'm
got.
not really sure what I want to pick because if they're that distracted, I mean, potentially I could, I don't know, take something off them. We'll see.
Essentially, so you're trying to pick something you could pick a lock with. Is that your plan here?
That's the plan, but I mean, potentially
So
they've got weapons on them.
they don't have your weapons on them, though.
They don't have.
They took those off you downstairs. So your
Yeah, but
weapons
they
are
have
downstairs.
theirs.
They have theirs, yes.
Swords or pistols or
I'd say the
one of
jailer
each.
has probably a short sword. The others have got sort of cudgel like truncheon.
Blackjack type things, just little clubs.
Yeah, like a small club. Okay.
That's okay. No guns. That's okay. I'll basically try to get something I can pick a lock with. At least that's my plan.
Okay, so add up, roll, see how many razors you can get.
Let's see.
So, Einar, how many razors do we have here? So, let's see. We've got. You're trying to break free. You're trying to intimidate them. So, you're trying to scare them. I'd say that's 1 raise. If you want to actively break free, that's 2. But there's the consequence here is going to be causing injury to yourself. So that will cost you, I'd say, another raise to avoid a wound here. And you've got the opportunity. What good opportunities have we got here in this situation? I guess you've got the opportunity is that you can actually break free. So you're trying to scare them, you've got the opportunity to break free, and the consequence of taking a wound here in the process.
The last thing that Einar cares about is being wounded. So can I activate my hubris to fly off the handle and lose my temper?
Okay, you want to get angry here? I mean, well, let's see where the dice have landed first, and then you can either be angry with your result of like. But does that give you a benefit in the actual roll?
It just gives me a hero point.
Okay, well, we'll deal with that in a sec. First, what have you got in terms of raises?
So raises is each set of 10, correct?
Each set of 10 you can get, yes.
2.
Okay, so you've got 2 raises. So you can choose here. You can either scare them, break free, and take a wound in the process. You can scare them and rattle the chain and not end up taking any wounds but not get free. You can. If you only want to do one of the things, I'll happily buy the second unused raise from you. But
I will rattle, and seeing that the new guy is taking that as an opportunity, I'll just use it to scare them.
Okay.
Brad,
in which case,
is your skill 3 or higher?
Is which skill?
The one you used for your approach?
Yeah, it's 3.
You can reroll one of your dice.
Oh, can you?
Mm-hmm. If you have 3 ranks in an ability, in a skill, you can reroll one of your dice per risk.
all right.
So you might get something good.
I didn't know how to do just one.
Just in Roll20 /R 1d10.
Yeah. You silly. /R, not R/.
You know what? Shut up, okay?
Meanwhile, okay. So that's an 8. Let me know if that adds up to another. If that could give you another raise.
It gives me just 1 shy of another one.
Okay, so still 2 raises. So, do you want to take the wound, or in yanking this chain so it rattles hard and you see speckles of dust falling to the wall? Or
no? You know what? Fuck it. Here for a good time. Take the wound, bust out.
Okay, the chain runs free. The guards leap back in alarm as you're now free of the wall. Whilst this is going on, Antonio, how many raises did you get on your pickpocketing thing?
Well, I forgot to mention my finesse is legendary. It's an automatic 10.
Okay.
On the first, basically, every time I roll, it'll be the first dice. Is the easiest way to keep track of it. So I've got 4 raises.
Four raises.
I re-rolled 1 dice, which I re-rolled a 1 and got a 2.
So you can easily pick a good lockpicking tool off them. You've got the opportunity, as the captain and his brutes are backing away from the jailer and his guards are backing through the door to nab the sword off the jailer as he's like backing out through the door and getting out of here without him immediately noticing.
Yeah, I think I'd go with that, definitely. I like the idea of having a sword and stabbing people.
Okay. So sword,
it appeals to me.
lockpick, You back out through the door. Not really. What's the consequence here? I guess the consequence is, as all this case is going on, you take like a backhand from one of the guards. You can spend a raise to get rid of that, and I'll buy the other one off you for a hero point, if you would like.
Why not? I mean, see what could go wrong. I mean,
okay. So you have an extra hero point, and I have an extra danger point.
I do have a question. There's no way actually.
Yeah.
There's no actual way I could trip them if they're backing away.
If you want to start a fight here and now.
Well, I'm assuming that's what's just happened.
Well, essentially, they're backing away. They're slamming the door shut. They haven't noticed yet that you've stolen a sword.
That's okay.
They haven't noticed that you've got a lockpick.
So we're
They're
stuck
essentially just
in.
backing away from the mad bastard who's just got an attack from the wall. So
that's good. I'll go with that.
Slam the door shut. You hear the key frantically turning in the lock. You're in here, but Einar is no longer chained to the wall. Antonio has a sword and a lockpick. As you hear mutters of Castillian on the other side of the door. I don't know. Oh, well, Antonio, you would understand the language. It is your natural language. You hear.
It is. You can tell from my
mutters
accent.
of mad bastard and not dead yet.
Like in that moment, as they're backing away, Einar is gonna like pop up to the jail cell door, very much like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, and just like, "Come back, cowards!"
They back away. The cowards back away cowardly. As they back away, yeah, the two of you are left alone in the cell. And we'll get back to the two of you and your introductions to each other in a moment. Because whilst all this is going on inside the jail, there are two others attempting a little plan of their own. So, Finlay and Karsten, where are you and what are you doing at this moment?
I think we probably are making our way up to the jail.
Yep.
I've got my crewmate Ferdinand, or in his language, Ferdinand, Allende, and I think I'm letting him lead the way, kind of answering all the Castillian questions, but we're there to help with the execution in the morning.
Okay. So, what approach here are the two of you taking to try and get into the jail? We're just walking up the cliff to the door? What's the plan here? What's the general?
Yeah, I think if I need to support my crewmen, I will do so in a conniving way. I think I would try to grease wheels.
Yeah, I'll hang out. I'm hanging out a little farther back because generally Ison and Castillian don't necessarily get along immediately. So if they go up to the door, I will probably go off to the side. Just so I'm out of view.
Just creeping up the slope towards the jail. Is that what you're doing here?
I think given the plan, we're just going to walk. I don't know that it's necessarily. Yeah.
We've got three men walking up the slope towards this jail. One of them is a Castillian named Ferdinand, who, like all Castillians have been established to in this part of the world, speaks with a surprisingly northern English accent.
Beautiful.
Just a fact of Castile.
Mm-hmm.
And accompanying him are two other men hanging a little further back. And what do these two men look like?
Carson, I'll let you go first.
Sure. Carson is what you might expect from an Ison gentleman, or not a gentleman necessarily, but an Ison man. He's not super tall, like 6 foot. He's stocky. He wearing what you see. He likes to. He's trying to blend in with the crew. He's not necessarily a sailor by trade, but he's been learning. So he wears it. He dresses the part, at least when he's on the ship.
Finley, by contrast, is about 5'7", He's got sun-kissed skin, but it's still a little bit paler. About dirty blonde hair, a bit of a beard. Doesn't look imposing, but there's something about the way that he walks that echoes back to the knight that he represents in this new phase of life. So there's a kind of bravado in how he holds himself up. Doesn't look flashy. He's got simple clothing, sailor's clothing. He doesn't like to be different from the rest of his crew, but he has a similar appearance to everybody on the ship. We all work together. No one's above another.
Okay. So as the two of you make your way up the slope to the jail, I would like you to decide what mechanical point of view approach you are taking here. And this is first attempt is a dramatic sequence. So, what trait and skill are you using in your sort of primary approach to getting into this jail? The two you have been, as part of your crew, hired through a mysterious a known third party by a mysterious second. Okay, I'm getting my second and third parties back to front here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someone on behalf of someone else has hired you to get some.
Person X wants person Y.
A dodgy guy in a pub has told you that a mysterious third party wants you to get a Castillian named Antonio del Aldana out of this jail before morning when he is due to hang.
Okay.
They want you to deliver him to a cove just up the coast. Alive.
I might try convincing or tempting our way in.
Okay. Is this then sort of wits and convince or panache and convince?
I think he's a panache kind of guy.
All right, style it out. Okay, add up your dice, roll, see how many raises you get, and just keep those raises in your pocket for when they're needed. And Karsten, what approach are you taking here?
I think I'm going to do what I was going to do originally, which is off to the side. I'm going to try and stay out of sight until the proverbial stuff hits the van. I'm thinking hide.
So you're just trying to stay hidden, stay stealthy.
Yep.
So what would this be?
Hide in finesse or hide in something else.
Hide in finesse, I think, or hide in. Yeah, I think finesse or even wit. Hiding requires some,
I have more finesse. I think I'll stick with that one for this. Okay.
Okay. So I do
let's
believe there's a rule that I forgot for the others is you do get a bonus die for the first time you use a certain approach in a scene.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
So bear that in mind. So as scenes go on, especially that becomes relevant in action sequences, is the first time you use a different sort of approach, a different thing, you're going to get a bonus die. Doing the same thing repeatedly does not earn you a bonus die. This is a rule I may or may not forget as the game goes on.
Okay. Got 3. The reroll.
Okay. Alright, so you've got 3 razors. Keep those in mind. You might need them. Be a little hiding and sneaking. Finlay, how many have you got?
I only got 2 raises.
Okay. So, as you make your way up towards the door. So Ferdinand is taking the lead, right? You want him up front.
Mm-hmm. He speaks the language.
Yeah, your master of sail. He sort of leans over to you. Captain, what do you want me to say? Who are we?
Ferdinand, please. We went over the plan on the boat. If you could just let the man know we're here to handle the execution in the morning about the Castillian that came in, and we should be able to meet with the man, give him his last rites and all, and be good, Pharisee people. You understand?
That's right. Yes, yes. Okay. I'm
Don't be
not made
nervous.
for this subterfuge.
No. Don't be nervous. If things go sideways, just get out of the way.
I appreciate that you've taught me Castillian, and I know that I speak with a funny accent, but let's let you be the leader here, okay? You've earned your title. Now let's see you be the hero I know you are.
Okay, so he walks up and on the door. And you hear a voice call out in Castillian from inside. Who goes there? What do you want at this hour of night?
Just nodding.
And Ferdinand takes a breath and responds that he's here to give the last rites to the Castillian who was just brought in. This is the question. Whose razors are we using here? Are we putting this on Ferdinand's or on yours for coming up with the plan?
I'll gladly bear the brunt of the situation.
Let's see. So, this will be a race to convince the guards here.
Sure.
I'm missing anything else? What else? I guess.
Any consequences or opportunities that come up?
Yeah, there's an opportunity.
Mm.
I mean, what opportunities are there beyond them opening the door to you, which is really what you're after here, isn't it? I guess the opportunity here is they're gonna let you, like, go farther than just opening the door and realizing that no, you are not in fact a priest. And the consequence is to directly recognize one of you. Like, someone has seen you, like, down in one of the taverns, or they've seen Ferdinand down in the tavern.
Yeah.
Like, he
Ferdinand,
likes to drink down
he gets
there.
around. He gets around.
Yeah,
He's a handsome man. I don't question him.
That's the entire crew is handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He's a good-looking bunch.
So they're going to arrest. Whether you just want to get through the door, whether you want to get a bit further than just through the door.
No, I think once we get through the door, then Carson and I can go into high gear.
Okay. So you just want to get through the door and avoid them then recognizing that, hey, it's Ferdinand.
Yep.
So you hear grumpy muttering from the other side of the door as like, this time of night. Wait till morning, and it's raining as well. And you hear the door being unlocked. And as the door swings open, you see a pair of, a pair of them. A pair of guards. Like, one of them peering out, the other one's a little further back down the corridor. Kind of half-heartedly looking the direction of the door. And so, Carson, you're still sort of high.
I'm hidden off to the side.
Yeah. The guy also looks around. If you want to do, he's not seen you yet, Carsten. I'm gonna say you can essentially use a raise to try and like do something.
I will take out my
further raise.
Yeah, and I think I'll take out my Ison. I have a Ison style broadsword, war sword, which are nasty weapons. He just pulls it out and he's going to just step out and put it at the guy's throat.
Okay, so right.
You're sneaking around with us Zweihinder?
Oh yeah.
You monster.
Okay.
Special kind of psychopath.
You got 3. You could definitely. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a race to get it on the neck. What's the call? I mean, the consequence is definitely he's gonna shout for alarm and raise the whole place in alarm.
Counter consequence: he has his Y-hander through his throat.
Yeah. No, that'll be a second raise to counter that consequence. And the opportunity here is what's an opportunity?
Hard to yell when you're gurgling on your own blood.
Yeah. You've got an opportunity that the other guard down the corridor is actually, the brother of the one you got at the door, and he is also going to be cowed into like not crying out straight away because But that's if you want to spend all three of those.
If it gets that result, yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's quite with a Zweihander to his throat. The stealth weapons that they are. Or silence.
It's still it's black, so it's stealth. It's in shadows. Yeah.
The corridor, like making like eye contact with the other guy at the end of the corridor, just gives it like.
And as we're doing a kind of step to the side to let the others pass if they at least one of them pass.
Okay.
Very, very kind for you to open the door for us. Thank you. And I just kind of push my way through.
Is it just the two of you going inside? Are you leaving?
Yeah. Ferdinand, go back to the ship and get it ready for.
Right.
I think we're going to need a hasty expedition.
Where do you want? Do you want the launch bringing round, or are you planning on?
Yeah, you know what? Bring it around. Sure.
Yeah. Where do you want it?
On the nearest the side facing the ocean, I think. I don't think we're going to be able to use this as an exit. What do you think, Karsten?
Got it, Captain.
I tend towards knocking down Castillian things, so I approve of any disruption.
They've earned it. No offense,
give you a look of
Ferdinand.
suspicion being a Castillian thing.
Ferdinand, you know what you've done. You know what your people have done.
The other stuff with it. As he hurries off to get the lunch. And as the two of you enter into the jail, we're going to go back to the upper floor to Antonio and Einar in the cell.
So I didn't mention this. 6'10", big wall of muscle. Think Hathor Bjornsson, so the guy who played the Mountain from Game of Thrones, but with like a big beard. And as soon as like he backs away from the door, he immediately looks down, or I guess not down. Where would Antonio be?
Yeah, he's only 5'7". You'd be looking down.
Well, I more so like he's on his feet, like he's not.
Oh,
like
yeah, it'd be next to the door really, because he just got thrown in and he grabbed what he could. You probably notice he's grabbed his sword. To be fair.
Yeah. He'll just kind of like look at Antonio, and then immediately kind of go back to like sitting against the wall, kind of where he was shackled, just like looking at the door. They'll probably be bringing more.
Well, hello there, friend. What time's food? Breakfast and all.
I imagine it's going to be late today.
Yeah, it could be. I'd rather not be here this morning, though. Well, this morning, next morning, tomorrow. How about yourself? Would you like to get out of here tonight? Well, I mean, I don't think anyone turning up will be quite polite to us, so we should just leave.
This sounds like a good plan.
I'm going to have a look at the door. You mentioned the door's quite solid wood. There's no way to pick a lock from this side, though.
Looking at this door, it's solid wood and appears to be bolted on the outside, but it does also have a key. So there's a key and a bolt.
It's bolted. So there's no real way we can force this door open.
I say it's got a key and a bolt. Those are the facts of the matter.
So it's just basically a wooden door.
Well, immediately Einar would be like, "Can you pick the lock?"
If I can get to the lock, I can pick the lock.
Einar, so real quick, because of the extra die for the approach, that would send me to a third raise. So
we'll do that for future things.
okay.
Yeah. General, if we roll things forwards, if I will make mistakes, keep them in mind for future rolls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that works. Yeah. So I think at this point, like Einar is going to try to basically like shoulder into the door to try and like see if he can like dislodge the bolt or like weaken the door enough to where he can at least get the bolt part. Because now that he's no longer attached to the wall, he is going to try to destroy this door. You're muted.
Yeah. So it's got a lock and bolts on the outside. That's what I was saying. It's got both a key lock and bolts on the outside of the door.
So effectively smash the door.
So there is a lock you could get to, but there's also bolts. But also, yes, smashing the door is definitely an option.
Oh, no. Einar is trying for the smash the door option.
Yes.
If he can't get to, like, if it's not something that he thinks that he would be able to dislodge, he'll just try to go through the door.
Okay. So this will be, I'm suspecting you can have the unused first approach thingy from last time.
Okay.
Because I forgot it last time. The consequence is going to be that everyone knows that you're breaking out and the full force of all the guards are going to descend on this corridor.
I feel like this is an acceptable risk, considering if they haven't already told people that I'm trying to break out.
I mean, no, to make it clear, they currently don't think you're trying to break out. They just think you're being a scary bastard that was trying to scare them. They don't know that's an active escape attempt in approach yet. They're just backing away.
Gotcha.
Like, okay, they'll hopefully kill each other before morning, sort of approach.
Gotcha.
So this is going to bring everyone in as a consequence.
But I have a proposal, because I got an extra hero point earlier because you bought one of my razors off me. I think you bought something off me anyway, so I want to see if I can assist in this to try and muffle the sound somehow, perhaps supporting the door from somehow to prevent the sound of this breakout, to reduce it so we don't draw as much attention.
So you can use your hero points to add 3 d10s to another hero's roll before a risk. So you can spend a hero point to help, if this is where you want to do that, with spending this.
Yeah, I think if we can do it to sort of try and to reduce the sound somehow.
Essentially, this is going to add dice, which is going to mean more razors, and razors can be spent to get rid of that consequence of being heard and being drawn in.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that. It's handy having the extra hero point, and I think...
So you're spending a hero point to give 3 more dice to Einar?
Yep.
Okay.
Question from earlier, did you buy the raise from me?
No, I did not. You used it not to get wounded.
No, I took the wound.
Oh, did you take the wound? In which case, yes,
Yeah.
You have an extra hero point, and I have an extra danger point. I have so many danger points. I need to use some of these.
Yeah, so Einar is going to try and basically linebacker straight through this door.
Okay.
Like shoulder right into the door, try to go through it.
So, I can't think of any good opportunities here.
I don't know, maybe one of the guards is on the other side of the door.
And you plow right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So consequence is going to be raising the alarm. Opportunity. You flatten someone with a door. So roll your dice. See how many raises you get.
Do Brawn Brawl.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I gotta add.
So you take a run up. You see this solid.
So that's 7.
Door.
7 raises. Because I have the one from earlier, which was a 10.
I mean, yes, this is obviously overkill. So.
And then 5 that I rolled, and then 1. Yeah, so I ended up with 7, almost 8. I ended at 79.
Okay. Well, that door is definitely getting smashed down. And let's see. Yeah, that's so smash down the door, somehow not raise the entire place in alarm, and also crush a guard. I'm gonna say, smashing a guard is gonna take a couple of raises. Let's call that 4 in all. You've got 3 spare. Can I buy them off you?
Let me think. What else can I do?
We have nothing. Like no, no.
Oh no, it's definitely going to be a no. I just want to see if there's something else I can do with the raises.
The guard could have something useful to you.
I'm gonna say that getting out, not raising alarm, and crushing the guard is the best you can get in this circumstance.
That's fair. I'll take it. But no, you can't buy them from me.
No more hero points for you then. No more hero points for you.
I have 2. I'll be okay.
So the door smashes open. The guard beneath you hear just a brief muffled yelp and then silence. As the dust clears, you are no longer locked in. Meanwhile, downstairs, Finlay and Carson, you've got through the door. You're in the lower floor. There's up above and outside, you hear the rumble of thunder, which covers up the noises on the floor above. There's a coincidental rumble of thunder that hides the sound of a door being broken. As far as you're aware, you are the only ones loose in the corridors of this place. You're on the ground floor. You can see there is off the one side there's a corridor that leads down to like a general like guards' quarters. There's sort of this table. You the 2 guards that were on duty downstairs, you've got cowed for the time being. How long they'll stay that way, you don't know.
Oh no, they're getting tied up and gagged. That's what's happening.
Yeah, so you're tying them up, gagging those guys.
Yep.
You can see there's another door that leads through to, based on your like rough sketch, like the jailer's quarters. You can hear a murmur of voices from in there, and there's a stair that leads up to the next floor. As you are sort of tying up these 2.
Carson, could you shove these boys in the door there just in case we do need to go out to the front?
Yes, I gently shove them into a side.
You're a beefier man than I, so I appreciate that. I'll pull out my sword.
So what are we thinking?
Arm of my gun. Well, I have a sword in one hand. I have a pistol in the other, and we've gotten this far. So I say we follow the rabbit as far down the hole as it goes.
Can you pick locks?
That's what the gun is for, Rainer and Kristen. Don't you know? A good Avalonian lockpick. Never leave home without it.
Oh, we'll have to take that under advisement.
I mean, you're used to hunting monsters and all. Stick with me, kid. I'll learn you something.
Okay. So let's find those stairs. Let's get up those stairs.
So
Upstairs.
you head up. It's this quite cramped spiral staircase that leads up to the next floor. A stone spiral staircase. You come up and out into the corridor that runs the length of the next floor. You see a bunch of sort of empty cells along the wall. And at the end of the corridor, the dark shadows of this jail, is the most enormous man you have ever laid eyes upon. This hulking giant of a figure at the far end of the corridor. I know.
Is that one of your trolls?
I don't think so.
I know.
It doesn't quite look like a Castillian.
You've broken down the door, and as the dust clears, you see 2 men come up around the staircase at the far end of the hall. You are all now together-ish.
No, that one looks like a Castillian.
Yeah,
You can tell
yeah.
how he's hiding behind the other one.
Right, the little one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Einar will kind of like turn around looking for Antonio and just be like, "We're out now. Where do
Yeah.
we go?"
Well, we need a boat and a crew. Well, a ship and a crew to be really. But I could do a grab in my stuff before we leave. Have you got anything you'd like to take with you?
Yes, I need my stuff.
Let's get our stuff.
So just to be clear, you two are having a conversation at one end of the hall,
Yeah.
and then Finlay and Carsten are having a conversation with
Just
each
look at
other
the
at the
other
other
two.
end of the hall.
Just hold up my hand. What are your names down there? Just for science purposes.
Einar is gonna look down. Do either of them bear any sort of resemblance to the guards?
No. There's an Ison man and the Avalonian man.
Einar will
They're
move.
not dressed like the guards, no.
We're looking for a way out.
Oh, right. But your names, like I asked, that would be really nice first.
You can
Like-
call me Bear Seaman.
Not calling you that. Sure. What about the little one behind you?
What's your name?
Carson, shoot him.
I hold up a gun.
We're here for one of you. The other one is just an added bonus.
At that point, like when he points the gun at Antonio, Einar will stand between Antonio and the gun.
Oh man, I'm not that good.
Oh, it's time to show your monster hunting skills.
I think he's a monster.
That's a monster, Carson. Look at him.
All right, are we fighting here? Is this what's happening?
Well,
I'm giving
Wait.
Antonio a chance to be a little more,
subtle.
yeah, than
Well-
Einar's about.
The thing is, we're planning to get out. Are you planning to get in for some reason?
No one wants to come to jail on purpose.
Exactly. Well, if you need my name, I'll give you
Right.
my name if you tell us yours after I've given my name.
Obviously,
Fair
we're
enough.
gentlemen.
You look like perfect gentleman. You have an honest face.
Sure, we haven't shot you. And we could have.
Exactly.
Is he looking at us?
My name is Antonio. Antonio
that's-
Aldana.
That's the one we were tasked with. All right, you can both come with us then.
Sounds a plan. We need to grab some bits and pieces on our way out. Our stuff. It's easy.
mean-
It's on the way.
I mean, there's 2 guards tied up downstairs. You can take their things.
I think there's one underneath this door as well.
Their things are not my things. I need my axe.
Won't take long.
Always a
Tell you
hitch.
what, he's
We'll grab
eloquent
our
for a
stuff and
giant.
we'll go.
Ah,
He does
Everything's
like
a weapon for you.
axe.
all right, come on. We're short on time.
Yeah, let's get going.
All right. So you're heading back down the staircase, and as you head down the spiral staircase, which of you is at the front? Who's taking the lead here?
If they're coming down our staircase, we are probably first, and I'll be first and ahead of
Right.
Finley.
Yeah.
Carsten in the lead as you come down this spiral staircase, as you reach the hall that leads to the way out. And as you step down the bottom of the staircase, you see someone is waiting for you down there.
Hmm.
You see the jailer. The gun in his hand, pointing at the stairs. He doesn't have his sword because someone stole it earlier. But you see behind him the nervous guards you had tied up before have been untied. A couple of others have joined them as the jailer looks at you, Carsten. You did not think it would be that easy to escape, did
Oh
you?
no, we totally did. Typical
And-
Castillians.
This is going to be, I believe, the start of an action sequence, unless you have another plan to talk your way out of here, Carsten.
Let's see. No, I'm going to say, well, there is someone here who was very unhappy with the guards. and I'm going to step to the side as I get to the bottom.
Okay, so as you all pile to the foot of the staircase, you see your way out and your way to your stuff, barred by the jailer
Mhm.
and his guards. Right. In the background, the imaginary music picks up a pace. Hands go to cudgels. Gun is cocked.
Yep.
What approach are people taking here? Because I'm going to go around each of you.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you what approach you are taking for this round. That'll be your trait and skill. You will roll it. You will establish how many raises you have. And that will decide between you who is going first and what exactly is going to happen here. So, and I think because I have so many danger points that people have been happily providing to me,
Mm.
I am going to raise the number of the number needed for a raise here to 15. Just because I can.
What's in the hallway as we come down? Is there stuff in the hallway? Is there chandeliers? Is there?
It's this stone hallway. On one
Mhm.
side, it opens out into the guard quarters. On the other side, there's a door to the captain's, not captain. I've seen Captain Finlay there on the screen. The jailer's office. There's metal brackets on the walls to hold
Okay.
light sources. There's a door at the end that leads to the outside. It's fairly sparsely furnished. We're not talking about a wide, big space. It's quite cramped, quite small.
Yep.
But are there chandelier type hanging
There are no
lights? I've got an
chandeliers.
idea what you're thinking of doing.
There's no chandeliers.
What chandeliers
Also,
are such about hanging lights or
the
lanterns?
ceiling is pretty low. We're talking
Fair enough. There'll be
this is not a
torches on the
grand
wall more
castle.
than anything else.
This is a stocky stone jail. This is a functional building.
Mm.
You get to swing for a
So,
chandelier later.
Yeah.
All right. So, has anyone decided already what approach they would like to take here?
Yes, I have. Want to go?
All right.
Go ahead.
Carson, what is it?
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use, since as a monster hunter, he's somebody who's patient. He's going to try to use athletics and finesse at least reflexively as a defense.
Okay, athletics and finesse. So essentially, what you're talking here, you're being nimble and.
I'm talking about I'm prepared that they are going to either shoot or rush us, and I'm going to be prepared to not get bowled over or not get swarmed by them. Because essentially what I want to do is tell our new Vesten friends that the jailer does not want him to have his ex.
Okay. So I think that's the first time you've used that, so you get an extra dice.
Okay.
That. Do you have any other bonus die for other related reasons? If not,
no, it could be. I have a legendary trait for brawn, but I'm not using brawn at this moment. So,
in which case, count your dice, roll them, and remember you're adding up to sets of 15 to make raises. Yep. Okay. Anyone else have an approach they know they'd like to take?
Einar would like to charge the nearest lackey using brawn and athletics.
Okay, so brawn and athletics for you. So I think this is
How many have got guns pointing towards us? Is it just
only the jailer has a gun. The others are got cudgels.
I would like to try to do something. I'm not sure whether I could have got adaptability as my I think what it is, one of my arcana, which means I think it doesn't mean I spend a hero point to go first. No, I can activate a virtue to take an action before anyone else.
Okay, so
around. I want to go first, and I want to try and effectively disarm the jailer, knock his.
You will be going first, but
and I want to
still
probably use finesse and weaponry as a guess. I want to disarm him, really, but not cause serious injury.
So work out what approach that would be. roll your dice, and we will be going first.
I don't think it would be theft. I think it'd probably be weaponry because I'm using a sword. to be
So
fair.
you want finesse and weaponry? Was that what you're going for?
It is, but I'm also a fencer, so I might get a bonus dice. I'm
It's the
just
first time you've
checking
used that
these.
approach, so you will get 1 extra die. It's been the first time you've used this particular approach in this scene.
If I use the fencer, gives me a bonus dice when I'm making a weaponry risk using a rapier, dagger, cutlass, or scimitar or similar one-handed weapon.
You have a one-handed sword currently in your hand.
So that would be 1 bonus dice. So would I get away with finesse and weaponry and a bonus dice?
Yep. So roll those, add up your razors, and we'll get back to you in a moment. Finlay, last but not least.
I think I'm going to invoke a little bit of Wolfrod the Bold, who is the knight that I have taken the mantle of. And it's going to look like I got bigger, almost up to Einar's chin instead of a whole like person beneath him.
Mhm.
And as I run forward, it's going to look like I'm kind of hulking my way forward on all fours, but I'm still standing. And I'm going to just kind of run in as I draw the sword out and just throw myself into the middle of everybody.
Okay.
But I'm definitely
So-
going for a lackey.
All right. So add up how many. So that's what approach would that be?
With my sword, I'll probably go with weaponry then.
Okay, weaponry.
Yeah.
This is the first time you've done this, so you get.
Would it be finesse or brawn?
It sounds more like a brawn if you're hulking out, going forward on all fours. But
Okay.
if you can argue it's finesse, then
No, I'll go with brawn. Do you have?
they don't.
Mm.
So, Antonio, how many razors did you get total?
I'm trying to work it out. I think I
Okay.
got 5 razors. I'm just short of 6. I re-rolled my 3 and ended up rolling a 2.
Okay.
But I've got, let's see, 1, 2. I rolled 3 10s. 2, 3, 4, 5 razors.
Okay. Karsten, how many did you get? Karsten, I think you're muted. Karsten?
You were talking to me. I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry. New name.
I
Tuesday.
got, yeah, I know I got 41, so 2 successes.
2 successes.
That's a good point. I forgot you raised it, so it's 15 for each
Yes, yeah.
one. So I'll just recalculate that, sorry.
All right. Aina, how many raises have we got?
One whole raise because of your stupid 15.
Look, I'll use these danger points for something. And Finlay?
I invoked Stronger Than You, which is a minor glamour, and I invoked Strongest There Is. So I technically have 4.
Okay, 4.
Yeah.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
you've got, in this corridor, you've got the jailer. You've also got, hang on, we're down on guard because you did take one out upstairs. So, we only have 4 in the brute squad today. So, there's 4 of them. Yes?
Would me throwing myself into this group of people earn a hero point when I uphold an ideal of knightly virtue in a way that gets me in trouble?
Yeah, I think throwing yourself directly into the fray, yes. Have
Perfect.
a hero point.
Thank you.
I know, what did you
Question.
say you were doing?
Charging into them. So
Yeah, you're
would
putting yourself in danger.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my hero point for my hubris.
Yep.
And then I am going to
That's
spin.
that's your quirk, isn't it? Putting yourself in danger.
No, it's my arcana, my hubris.
I thought that was flying off the handle.
Yeah. I mean, it could be the quirk for.
It sounds more like the quirk for now.
Okay.
Have a hero point.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it's the same thing, and I can get 2 hero points for it. That's actually a question. Since it's technically the same thing, can I get
No,
one
they're
for
not,
the quirk?
They're not the same thing. Putting yourself in danger is sort of more of a decisive thing.
I'm running
Going
head
off
first.
the handle.
That's fair.
You've
That's
not
fair.
done that
That's
yet.
fair. That's fair.
You might do that, but you've not done that yet.
I would like to take that hero point that I just got and immediately defeat a single brute squad, regardless of strength,
we'll
to take a
get to you in a
dramatic
sec.
loot.
We're going to start off with Antonio is first because
Yeah,
so
used adaptability.
you've got the jailer there. You've got these 4 guards, 2 of which looks quite nervous. Back behind him.
Yeah, I'm trying to disarm. I think I got 3 raises once,
Yes.
15 rather than 10.
What would you like to do with those razors?
I think I'd like to effectively relieve him of his gun.
Okay, so
Actually,
you try and knock it out of his hand?
Actually, yes, that might be a good idea. Yeah, knock it out of his hands, but how many razors would that take to do that?
I'm going to say...
Because I'm wondering if I can do something extra.
As an action, you simply want to knock it out of...
I'll take the gun out of the fight, basically.
If you want to take the gun fully out of the fight, I'm going to say that's going to be 2. And if you just want to kind of knock it off balance so he's not going to shoot anyone in this next moment, that'll be 1.
I'll definitely want to take it out of the fight out of his use, so I'd say 2. Would you let me use the 3rd one to inconvenience him?
So you could. This is your action. I think then he goes to the next person, and then you've still got that round that left for later this round, I believe.
I don't know how it works in this game, to be fair.
That was my understanding of it, but
you take your first action, you count up how many raises it uses, and then once you're done paying for those raises, we calculate who has the next highest raises, and they go next.
Okay. So the gun goes with 1 after knocking it out of his hand, basically.
Goes skidding across under the table in the guards' quarters, out the way. No one is going to be able to grab it in the immediate future. It skids out across the floor. Next, we go to Finlay, who had 4.
Ooh, I'm gonna attack the jailer.
All right. What are we doing here? Talk us through it as a person who...
I think that sliding in, throwing myself into the fray, I've kind of clashed swords with the armor that they're wearing, whatever leathers they're protecting themselves with. But now that I hear the gun clatter to the ground, now's when I kind of strike at the main target.
All right. So. That is 1 raise for an action, and then I believe, is it beyond that for wounds inflicted? Damage done. Please help me here.
Yeah. So I believe I do my weaponry in damage.
Yes. I believe I thought it was 1 raise for a point of damage. I thought that was how it worked, but that might...
Yeah. So the hit does the initial point of damage. I'm going to use an extra one. And I thought I had something. And I'm going to activate Short Strike when determining raises for weapon risk. All of your attacks deal additional wounds equal to my ranks in this glamour, which is 2 more.
Okay.
So I do 3. That's why I do 3 for 1 raise.
Okay. Nice. I assume, does that cost a hero point, or is that free?
Yep. Yeah, no. Every one of my spells costs a hero point, which is why I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to earn them as fast as possible.
That's fair enough. So, how many wounds does that inflict on our jailer here?
I'm gonna use 2 of my raises, so I do 6 wounds.
6 wounds.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 per, 3 per raise.
3 per raise. Okay, so 6 wounds inflicted.
Yeah. Keep the other 2 raises in case I need them for shenanigans.
Stella, how are you taking this guy down? He's only the jailer. It's a minor villain.
I don't know your life.
All right, how are you taking him down? What does it look like?
I think with his attention turned towards the gun, I'll grab him from the shoulder, and instead of turning him around, I'll flip over him, and as I land in front of him, I'll just kind of crescent upward, and kind of spatter his blood all over one of the other guys that's with him. They're not pirates, but they die like them.
All right, as the blood splatters across the wall, the gun skitters underneath. How many razors does that leave you with?
2.
2.
Yep.
Okay, well, he's out of the fight. There are still the brutes there. They're still there. I'm going to say Carsten. The jailer goes down, but you see the others, cudgels in hand, are preparing, closing in around Finlay and Tony, and I heading unwisely towards Einar as he plunges into the fray. You're muted.
Jesus, I was thinking if somehow, I know that everything's in motion already, but if I can somehow help Einar, because that was my plan, was to just let him charge forward and smash these guys. Can I use those raises to help him, or is that a thing?
What did you roll as your approach again? That was...
I was on the defensive, and because I was up front, I didn't want to get shot immediately or bum rushed.
I don't know exactly how you could transfer helping. Essentially, you can use a hero point to have given him more raises for a roll.
Nope, that's fine. That's fine.
You can use a raise to create an opportunity. Just got to figure out how to do that.
Yes, if you can think of a way to offer an opportunity to Einar.
Yeah, is there a chair nearby? Like, is there a chair or a stool near me?
It's in just around the corner into the guards' quarters, where that opens sort of opens up.
I was just gonna just take one because I can't really swing a Zweihander in this small space, so I was just thinking pick up a chair and just distract one of the guys by throwing a chair at him.
Okay, just distract him.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say that's gonna be 2 raises. 1 for the action and 1 because this is sort of outside of your original sort of approach that you were taking here.
Perfect.
So that'll be your 2 raises to distract, offer,
and hopefully facilitate
opportunity,
our
which
strong bear friend.
I think makes it easier for Einar to do more. But when still not quite to Einar yet, Mr. 1 raise, because that brings us back to Finlay, who still has 2 raises.
Oh my god. Then I will. Oh man. I wanted to leave these guys for Einar. But
if you can kill him.
Time is of the essence.
Einar will finish him off.
Yeah. So as the jailer's falling backwards, I'll just kick him into one of the other guys and become a whirlwind of steel. And then you said there's 2 of them, so I'll use 1 raise on each one of them.
It's 4 of them.
4 of them.
Yes.
Oh boy. Then yeah, I'll take out all 4 of them with one attack. Since I'm doing 4 wounds.
Okay. Can I do anything to counter this, or do I have to wait? When do the brutes get a turn?
The brutes go last.
Bloody brutes.
Yeah. The fun thing about and the easiest thing about the system is that brutes health is equal to their strength.
Yeah.
So if there's 4 of them, and I do 4 wounds, I basically take them out.
Okay, so you're taking him out. You're not leaving any for Einar.
I wanted to.
Oh, he's
I'm
gonna
sorry,
be angry.
Bear boy.
See, with the flurry.
I try
Already-
to just have a spatter of blood in a artful manner.
As they collapse to the ground, Einar, you went charging in, and as you look around, everyone is already down on the ground.
I think at that point Einar like is on the peak of rage, but then just sees this symphony of death and looks at Finley. Are you sure you're not Vesten?
I assure you, although the knight that I've taken the mantle of might have been from Vesten.
You are a good fighter.
I've worked hard to become so.
And yeah, at that point, Einar is just gonna kick one of the bodies, sort of like almost as sort of like a dang it, and then immediately goes looking for his axe.
All right, you head through the guards' quarters to the other side where they store confiscated weapons and items, and there it is, rested up against the shelvings amidst various rusted blades and other confiscated items. Your axe, your beautiful axe.
So yeah, so like as soon as like Einar sees it, uh he grabs it. It's a very like ornate like Viking battle axe. Um and he also grabs among the confiscated items his cloak, which is made from a bear pelt. So he'll put that on, grab his axe, and go, I'm ready.
Antonio, you see your belongings are also there.
Yeah. I'm pretty much going to grab my stuff, my shirt, my lockpicks that would have been able to be concealed on my person, and my dueling sword and dagger, and a set of throwing daggers, basically, which I hide in various places on my person, my bucklers and not bucklers,
Races?
braces. That's the word I was thinking of. And
So
boots.
you're
And
just stowing knives
yeah,
everywhere.
knives and my sword and dagger, and that's pretty much me sorted. I probably also grabbed I had one raised left, so I would have grabbed the jailer's keys in case they were useful as we were walking past towards them.
Okay.
Just grab my stuff.
So you've got your stuff.
Oh, and a bottle of rum, ideally, if there's anything there.
You got a bottle of rum. And the way to the outside is open. Outside, the waves crash against the cliffs and thunder rolls in the night.
Hey, did we see the jailer's desk? Was it in that guard room? Or
That's through in his office.
I'm curious. Were there transfer papers for Antonio? If I were back.
There would not have been like official sort of transfer papers.
Mhm.
There were orders,
Mhm.
detailing, his arrest for impersonating a member of the clergy,
Mhm.
and someone whose name you don't recognize and signature is a bit squiggly.
Mhm.
A certain Vaticine cleric has signed a death warrant for him, which you're not hugely familiar with the church, but you think that seems perhaps unusually harsh
Yeah.
for
Maybe.
such a crime.
I'll pick it up. Maybe Finn has some ideas,
So,
and I'll join the others after I check the desk.
papers in hand, unless there's anything else anyone wants to do at the jail.
At that point, Einar will to Finley goes, you fought like a true warrior, and he'll offer his hand. Einar,
Oh,
Einar is my true name.
Phew, good. As we were having, I wouldn't have taken very seriously to calling you bear seaman. The
Well,
implications
bear,
of it.
and he points to the cloak.
Mhm.
Sailor, his profession.
Right. No, I understand where you came. I just there are cultural differences between you and I guess. And I'll shake his hand. Finley Abernathy, captain of the Starhopper. Come on, let's get out of here.
Shall we lock these guards up in one of the rooms first?
Aren't they dead?
The dead guards.
Are they dead or?
They're
Oh.
dead.
Well,
In all the were all the
If
cells
they
empty?
weren't,
Yes.
Let's just light the place on fire. That's fine,
well,
right?
actually, in the guard room they had the belongings of the various prisoners. Is there anything of extra value or interest to us?
There's probably anything that's valuable has been resold. There's a few spare blades, various jackets and coats of varying levels of.
Nothing of value, basically.
Yeah, nothing of value. Valuable things have been sold.
We should make our way and get out of here, I think, then. There's nothing left here for us.
Great.
Fair point.
All right. So as the four of you leave the jail and head out into the night down towards the shore, that is going to be where we go on break. So, as a storm rages outside and as the jailer and his assistants lie dead in the prison, the four of you make your way down to the coast, where Ferdinand is waiting with the launch on this boat on the shore, a hooded lantern, looking around cautiously.
You see, look at that. That's a good crewman right there.
Top shelf.
He's actually looking towards the seaward side of the jail, as though he's expecting you to come from that
Yeah.
direction.
I'll just whistle at him.
Captain, sorry, I expected you from the other way.
So did I. But plans changed, Ferdinand. Do we have space for the big fella?
If you can row.
I imagine when he suggests that Einar be rowing, he just kind of looks down at him holding the axe, completely deadpan, not necessarily trying to intimidate, but also not necessarily not trying to intimidate.
And also if you can't row.
Ferdinand, please be civil to our guests. We don't even know if he's related to Powder yet or not, so let's treat him like he is.
It's just what we need. More Vesten.
Ferdinand is not working on job security right now.
Ferdinand's racist.
Ferdinand's going to be the new boat oar.
You need me. I do this. I'm master of sales. It's important.
Thin ice, Ferdinand. Let's go. Everybody get on the ship.
Right.
Yeah, Einar, I'll get on. Yeah.
You get onto the boat, and are any of you actually helping row out to the Starhopper?
Yeah.
Einar will. He'll take turns, probably doing an oar on each side of him, doing the job of two people, and then just kind of taking a shift.
I will, but I need to talk to Captain Finley real quick. Let's burn the way out.
No. Mr. Antonio, why would somebody want us to help you break out of prison for your knowledge? What do you know before we get to the Starhopper?
That's a very good question. Have you any idea who hired you?
An associate of an associate.
The only people I can think of wanting me out of the way would be the Inquisition. But I'm not exactly in their good books for
Right.
those reasons, but
Sure.
I might know where there might be some treasure.
That's a pretty vague terminology there.
Okay,
Treasure could be a stack of gold, or it could be a certain artifact.
it could be a combination of all of them. I don't believe that could be why they were after me, but I thought it was a bit harsh. I may have been dressed up as a priest at some point by accident because that was the only clothing available, and I was sentenced to death for it. Apparently, I thought that was a bit harsh. Really, I mean, just a case of mistaken identity.
The Castillians really like the Vatican Church.
Some do, some don't. I mean, I'm not too keen on it myself, but I wouldn't say that if we were on land. There's good people and bad people in it, but I've never been particularly a fan of the Inquisition, but there are good people in the church, just unfortunately a lot of bad ones at the moment.
All right. Well, we've been hired to bring you in, so I'd like to gauge just the kind of man you are, so I know whether or not to finish this or let you go on your way.
Well,
Treasure talk seems to be the death of many a sailor, you understand.
It's true. I'm trying to think. The treasure, I know where it's located, and it's a mixture of artifacts and gold. It's effectively a pirate's treasure.
What pirate is this?
She's not been around for a long time. I think she vanished some time ago. Beatrice, I think her name was. Let me double check.
Beatrice.
Yeah, that's the name. Yeah, Beatrice Del Val de Lobo.
Being that the Starhopper is a pirate hunter, would I know about this?
You would have heard this name. She was active during the War of the Cross, and she was said to have stolen a very valuable haul from a Montagnan vessel. Well, she was still under the employ of Castile, and then absconded with it, making an enemy of both sides of the war. And when she was caught, she did not have the treasure, and no one knows what became of the treasure. Some people say she was caught and hanged, some people say she disappeared. It's become a little bit of a myth of what happened to her, but the general belief is the treasure just vanished.
Well, I believe I know. Well, I say believe. I know where the treasure is, but unfortunately, I need a ship and a crew to get there.
But you haven't seen it. You don't know if it exists.
No, it's quite a reliable source. It's a former crewman of hers who informed me of where the treasure was.
Now, why would he be so willing to share this information with you? Is my question.
A fair question.
Very good point. I was good friends with them, and they were dying. They're friends of the family from some time ago.
You just thought, I'm going to take care of this man.
I knew them. I wanted to make sure they were okay. I was just nice to them, basically, and made sure they were comfortable as they were dying.
I'll have to speak it over with the crew. None of us are really above each other. I don't believe in titles with my men and women. I think of ourselves as a family. So right now the goal
Equals and such.
Correct. So we were hired, Karsten and I were hired to bring you in to this third party.
The treasure's probably worth more than what they were offering you. If they were after the treasure. So we could split it between us all.
You're willing to let something like that go so easily?
I wouldn't say easily. I still need a ship and a crew to get there.
So you're buying our services, is what you're saying?
More or less.
Ferdinand, what say you?
I'd say it sounds like a story. The kind of story someone makes up who wants to avoid being handed over. Who's to say that they don't that's any of this is true? Maybe
Where
someone wants him for some other reason.
where I come from, stories often come from reality.
Yeah, it sounds just like Powder. He does. They're going to get along splendidly. Mr. Heller, I can't speak for you, so if you'd like me to drop you off somewhere.
No, in for a penny, as they say.
All right.
This sounds like the start of a good story. You have my axe.
A story either way.
My sword.
All right. I'll bring it up with the rest of the crew, and if the majority thinks that this is a story worth pursuing, I think we'll see how far we go. And if you're lying at any point, you'll find yourself tied to a heavy cannonball and thrown over the edge. And we'll see if you can make it to shore.
Unfortunately, that would mean you breaking the other deal you made.
Right, but...
And you wouldn't get paid for it. So one way is we can pursue this, see whether the treasure is real. And if not, then you could always choose to deliver me for the reward, the payment.
That is a more humane idea.
So you could find out whether I'm lying that way and make that decision at that point. But either way, it'd be an interesting story.
I'll bring that up with the crew then, because I know that I'm reacting as a man whose time has been wasted. And so I'm more vindictive than they are.
I think that's part of being a captain. It has to be.
Especially when you deal with pirates.
Not all pirates are bad.
Pirates, it's a matter of perspective. You're on one side or the other, privateer or pirate. There's a difference in a fine line. Who hires who?
You act against the crown, you're a pirate in my eyes.
For which crown? But if you're employed by the crown as a privateer, you're a pirate to someone.
I work for the Grail first, the Queen second.
It's fair enough. It's very important we know who stands for what.
So, as you're having this conversation, as the oars part the water, you're drawing out from the shore and coming into view of the Starhopper itself. And, well, what would I see? What do you have from the Starhopper? I believe she is a brigantine of Avalon make, if I am not mistaken.
Yep, a brigantine of Avalon origin. So she's not the biggest, but she's definitely built for speed. Has a complement of maybe a dozen cannons at most. But she definitely looks like she's seen a scrape or two.
Yeah, and as you draw near, you Gertrude kind of calls out from like, "Oh, hey, Captain, is that you?"
Yeah, and I'll whistle our tune.
Oh shit, whistles! Sorry, I forgot we're supposed to be doing whistles.
No. It's all right, Gertie. You're still getting used to it.
Right, chucks down a rope, hold up the boat, and pull it in.
Try not to sink my boat when you climb up the ladder, big boy. And just pat Einar on the shoulder.
Hopefully your ship can handle herself.
We have one Vesten already. Can't hurt to have a second one.
All right, so up and over the side, and I suppose you've
Yeah.
got to, stick the boat behind for now, and haul it on board in daylight. And yes, as you reach the top of the side, Gertrude, the bosun, is waiting. She reaches. Ferdinand, you're still alive.
See that, Ferdinand? They had money against you. But I trusted you. You're a good nose. Let's bring up the dinghy and let's set sail.
Yeah. And she.
Einar will help bring up the dinghy with almost no effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As she gets, well, Gertrude looks from you, Finlay, over to Antonio, and then sort of leans in to whisper, "That him?"
Supposedly. Gather the crew for a meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Heller, if I could trust these guests with you, I'll talk to my crew about our future.
Take all the time you need, Captain.
Okay, so Karsten, Einar, and Antonio are heading one way, and Finlay's off to speak to the rest of the crew. So as these two groups draw apart on the boat, I'll start with Antonio, Einar, and Karsten. Is there anything you three wish to discuss out of Finlay's earshot? Any information to be exchanged between the three of you, or just
You're trying to suggest a side deal of mutiny.
Absolutely not. He is not kidding when he will tie us to a cannonball and throw us off overboard.
No, that was to the storyteller.
Okay. So,
Oh.
you Antonio, are you proposing mutiny to Karsten and Einar?
Oh, no, of course not. Like, strange enough, he's relatively honest. He has his own, say, code of honor as such. If he says something or comes to an agreement, he'll hold to his deal. He won't stab someone in the back. He'd rather stab him in the front.
Okay, so is
Really
there anything the three of you wish to talk about, or shall we get over to Finlay and
I think discuss the ship. I think I'd like to find out a bit more about the ship. It does look like a ship built for speed, and I've got an ability in sailing, so I'd probably be asking the right questions about it. And I suspect Anna has a fair talent in sailing as well, so we'd probably discuss the ship and how it's laid out and get an idea of the ship.
Okay. Karsten, do you know much about sailing?
I have sailing, and I have sea legs, but I'm not necessarily I'm not a born sailor. I've learned
you
it
know enough to be able to talk to them about sailing. You're not a complete landlubber who's
no.
You know enough about the ship as well.
Einar looks probably more comfortable on the boat, and probably the only time he looked arguably this comfortable was when they were fighting. This is his element. He's familiar with the boat. He's kind of, taking in the surroundings, trying to figure out where everything is in case something happens. It's a new boat, so he's just trying to familiarize himself. And then, like you said, talking with Antonio and Karsten about the boat and whatnot.
I think that's probably more or less the same thing. We've worked on ships before. We're probably interested in, helping out a little bit whilst we're here. And I've also got sea legs as well, so I'm not a stranger to being on a ship.
Okay. Karsten, are you giving them a full tour of the boat, or are you being more sort of cagey about the boat and its capabilities?
I'm being very general. It's not my boat. I can't go around giving secrets, so we'll just do, I imagine it would just be general stuff like, this is, supplies here for, whatever. Just, this is, general. I'll let the captain do that.
All right, well, whilst this is going on, Captain, you've got the other 5 of your crew gathered together.
Yeah, well, there's a 10-person crew, but there's 5
the
with no
5
names.
ones that have names.
Yeah. So
and
we're
5 more who are
they're doing their business.
The extras, the ones where you swear they were played by a different actor in last season.
They until they become relevant, they don't have a name. But yeah, I'm sitting with my my 2 Avalonians, my 2 Castillians, and my big old Vesten girl called Powder. and I just I don't sit down at the head of the table like I normally do. So we found the man we were paid to abscond with, as I won't say we broke into a prison to get them out because they were already free on their own. But he's willing to take us to this treasure in exchange for his freedom.
Treasure?
And
You see a
since
couple of people lean forward at the mention of treasure.
oh,
And a couple of people
let's not get excited. This is fabled treasure. This is Beatrice's treasure.
wanted to chase after that ghost.
That's what I said. But I also don't make decisions for all of us. You know that each of you has an equal share in this endeavor, and so I wanted to put it to a vote. We do have the other big Vesten agreed to help us. Mr. Heller is on board as well, pun intended. And Ferdinand was there when the story was divulged, so he said this would make a good story.
No, I said this sounded like a story.
Ferdinand, there's no need to change your story in front of the crew. We all trust each other here.
Look, I'm saying the only word we've got for this is one man who was due to be killed by one lot of people and another lot of people want him. He doesn't seem the most reliable of sources.
Correct. One, he's Castillian, so we understand where we stand with them. And two, he impersonated a member of the Vatican Church, which doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form.
Because this is a crew full of heretics. Heathens and heretics.
Ferdinand, please. You haven't been to church in years.
Yeah.
The vote stands. I open it up to you in your concerns, except for Ferdinand, who already voiced his.
There's mutterings and murmurings. Gertrude nods and goes, "Not sure I can say no to the promise of treasure. It's worth a look, surely? And if it's not, we throw the Castillian over the side."
And I just look at Ferdinand, the new Castillian Ferdinand, not you.
And yeah, there's a few matters. So Hannah, who's your first mate, looks a little wary. Do we know if anyone else is after this treasure?
We were paid to find him and release him from prison, so I can only assume that there are other people on the hunt for him and his knowledge. So sure.
But this is not without risk.
Correct. No hunt is without risk.
Well, it's potentially reward if he's not a liar or an idiot. You've met him, I haven't. Does he seem like a liar or an idiot?
Such an open-ended question. We have time to discern the truth from him. So I trust you, Hannah, to handle that. I mean, Ferdinand and Jacobo there have proven themselves to be not liars or idiots. Although Ferdinand does skew a bit towards the latter.
Well, yes, we know not all Castillians are liars or idiots, but there can still be the odd one.
I just reassuringly nod at Ferdinand.
Every family has an idiot cousin.
And just lean over. Not you, Ferdinand. You're good.
But there is another side of this. If we reneged on our deal, the one that three-fingered Roberto hooked us up with. Word may get around that we're not a crew who keeps our promises.
Correct. But we also weren't hired by a trustworthy individual. We were associated from an associated who brought us this associate. So we're far enough removed, I think, that we can handle the backlash of that.
That is a good point.
This is Castillian affairs, honestly. We're used to the Glamour Isles, and a bit of the North Sea. Like, this might be a change of pace from hunting pirates.
Which brings us to the question of the big Vesten you brought aboard. What do we know of him?
He stood up for pirates on the way here, so I'm thinking his morals are questionable. But he's also bigger than all of us.
Yes.
And his axe is the size of Ferdinand, so...
I'm not sure I'm entirely keen on the idea of having an enormous giant of dubious loyalties on board.
Well, I'm sure that Powder can suss him out, being as they're from the same lands.
Powder just gives a nod.
I trust her.
Fine, look. In which case, with great, what's the word? Forgotten the word. Reserve, dubiousness, reservation.
Reluctant.
With great reservation, you agree to go along with this mad hunt idea.
Good.
That's Hannah.
All right. That's the majority of you.
Gives a nod. I'm in. Powder nods along. Ferdinand just goes, "No, it is insane." One vote against. There's a couple of other votes along with Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, your concern has been noted. The majority will be moving forward, though. And the worst case scenario, Powder can hold him down while we tie him to some cannonballs and throw him overboard for his lies and deceit.
Or we just poison him, says the doctor.
Jacobo, this is a countryman of yours.
Oh, I meant the Vesten. If we have to get rid of him.
Have you seen his size? I don't think there's enough poison in all of Thea to handle him.
Then we just have to hope that he doesn't decide to kill us all.
Right. Well, I'm hoping that if we turn on the Castillian that we freed, that he won't turn against us in retaliation. I don't sense any kind of friendship amongst them. So I'm not afraid of the big man in that respect. I'm afraid of him, period, but in that respect, I think we'll be fine. And again, I trust Powder to suss him out.
Would you like me to go talk to him now?
Sure, I think we're done here if everybody's all right with the decision to move forward.
Nods, murmurs, a few sort of general kind of
yeah,
from less on board members of the crew, but the vote does seem to have gone in your favour.
Mm-hmm. And I'll clap Ferdinand on the shoulder and just be like, "My friend, think of the story you can tell.
If we live.
I mean, we've survived this long together, my friend. Do you trust me?"
Yes. Always.
There you go. And I trust you. So, moving forward, I think we all understand where we're going. Just keep an eye on the man.
Right.
Sooner or later, if there's any deception, he'll show himself to be his true colors to us.
So the crew disperse to their various tasks. The three of you who are getting your boat tour have now finished touring around. As you see the crew start to emerge from their meeting from the captain. I know you see one woman sort of give you a very sort of wary up and down look. This quite slender Avalonish woman sort of gives you an assessing look, then heads off to her duties. Antonio, you see a very sort of I'm watching you look from Ferdinand. Yeah. And yeah. Karsten, I mean you know the crew, you see sort of, that's Hannah giving the sort of dubious look at Einar, and you know Ferdinand. You also see Powder emerge, you're formerly your only Vesten crew member, and now your first Vesten crew member potentially. This fairly tall woman. She's she's not a short woman, but as she heads over towards Einar, she looks much smaller than she ever has looked. But because anyone who stands next to Einar looks small. So there are those perspective trick paintings when you only, you see some other circumstances, you realise, oh, you are in fact actually a tall person. You just only ever stand next to really giant people. As she makes her way over, she offers her hand out to Einar and goes, welcome aboard.
Is it obvious that she's Vesten?
She's speaking your language, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was going to be his move. He'll take her hand and greetings.
Crew's voted not to throw you overboard. Thought you ought to know.
I would welcome the exercise. Being in that cell for so long, I'm a bit off my game, but the captain is a true warrior, and this is a marvelous ship.
She's a fair beauty, yes. Well, She looks at you and goes,
You seem unsure of something.
they want me to
Speak
get
your mind.
They want me to get the measure of you, seeing as we share our homeland. I did try and point out to them that I don't know. Well, I thought it, didn't say it. That not everyone from Westermar knows each other. But, what landed you so far south in a Castillian jail?
It was accident. And then he looks over at his axe, holds it up. This is accident.
You are not a merchant, then? No?
My family were merchants. I found a better calling. One of the old ways. I want the skalds to tell stories of me for eternity.
Yeah. Well, you've joined up in the right. Well, if you join up, it's the right place. These Glamour Islanders, they love stories almost as much as we do. They're all about their glory and knights and their old tales.
I understand their hesitance. I am not small. But as you know, we are loyal people.
I've met some unloyal bastards in my time north and south.
It's
That's
true, but I've sworn my axe to the captain. As I
alright.
said, he is a strong fighter, and he helped me get out of that cell. Well, he helped me get out of the jail. I got out of the cell. But as long as he doesn't stab me in back, I won't stab him in his.
No. If the captain wanted to stab you, he'd stab you in the front.
Good.
No.
It would give him a better chance.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope we're not making a very big mistake here.
Oh, don't worry. Last thing that stabbed me in back, I took its skin. And like Einar will show this huge chunk of like skin that's off of his back from where like a bear claw just tore into it. And it is covered with the bear skin pelt.
It's a good job it was a bear and not a person.
It was definitely more fun.
And makes a better cloak.
Oh, yes. Most people are too small for good cloak.
Yeah, so as those two are sort of talking away in Vesten, are the rest of you up to anything?
I was going to look up to the captain when assuming Antonio doesn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, I think when those two started speaking their own language, Antonio, although he can't actually understand it, he would have stepped away, probably heading towards any crewmen who looked to be from his country. Just backed away slowly, politely.
I mean, heading away, you can see, you recognize Ferdinand and a rather quiet gentleman with spectacles who's scurried away.
That was suspicious, but I'm just going to try to blend in as much as I can and probably speak to Ferdinand if he's still about.
Okay, so Carsten, you went over to talk to the captain, unless the captain is up to anything else.
Mhm.
You two can discuss what
Sure.
needs discussing.
Captain,
Mr. Heller.
I'll hand him the orders. At least part of his story was right or accurate.
Right.
Don't like it.
I saw that you were showing them around. I appreciate that.
Just the upper deck. I didn't want to intrude.
I appreciate it. I think there's a bit of trepidation from the crew as well, but the majority of them are more interested in proving whether or not this treasure exists. And I have to say that deep down inside, I'm also of that mind.
Sure. Why not? Try to find something everyone thought was lost. Hell of an adventure.
It's become a myth, and I mean she existed, sure, but to find something like this in our lifetime, it's one of those things that could definitely change the tide of the war.
Change the tide. Worth a few notches in our own belts if you're into that.
Sure. And I know that you're used to monsters and things that rattle in the darkest hours of the night, Mr. Heller, but sometimes men are more monstrous than the creatures in the dark woods that you've told us about.
Oh, I am aware. Thank you. The reminder.
No, I meant it more for myself, since you're so good at picking them up. I hope that if either the tall slab of meat or the dubious gentleman with the secret knowledge of treasure that he shouldn't have turn out to be said monstrous creatures, that you will be the first to warn us.
Oh, I will keep my eyes open, of course, as I always do. But the Vesten, he did swear to you, though, so I think, at least for the short term, we may not, safe may be the wrong word, but Not in immediate danger?
You've seen his size. No one is safe from that man.
Nope.
He could stand in the middle of Vesten and hit someone in the sewer with that axe.
I bet that axe has some stories to tell.
I believe it.
Yeah. But
Right. Let's take this scoundrel up to the map room, and he can start leading us to where we need to go.
yeah, just we have make sure the lookout keeps a extra eye out behind us.
All right.
Just in case. It seems like I'm seeing orders for death when all he did was put on a smock, priest smock.
You know how
something's
touchy
happening. Yeah.
You know how touchy the Castillians have been since they took the Vatican Church from Vadace.
True. But impersonation and death.
Montaigne and them are the reason that we got into this war of the cross anyway.
Ugh. Could go a day without hearing the word Montaigne. Anywho.
They claim to have the best wine, but it's false.
They have the he'll almost make a pun about wine with an H, but he'll smirk to himself.
I mean, they do have good chocolate. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But that's all I give them.
Okay. So you're taking Antonio up to the map room. So
yeah.
You see him off to one side talking to Ferdinand. Antonio, was there anything in particular you want to talk about, or are you just passing the time until someone comes to fetch you?
Passing the time and trying to suss out the nature of this ship, really, because he doesn't know. He is under the impression they might be pirate hunters, but he's not really a pirate as such. As he said earlier, it depends on what side you're on. But he wants to gauge effectively how, honourable or disreputable the crew is or the ship, to get an idea whether the sort of people who are also pirates or whether they're all for crown and country type. Just a general feel of the nature of the crew and what drives them.
I mean, the crew themselves are all driven by their own reasons to be on this crew. Ferdinand, as far as he says it, who's in it for it pays well, and it's better than being in a hole in the ground. Whether that's true or just bluster, you don't know. You just claim that they are pirate hunters. They do hunt pirates.
Is there anything I'd need to roll to be able to tell anything about the ship and the people?
I mean, looking around it, looking at the ship, you can see they seem fairly well I wouldn't say well disciplined, but they seem a very cohesive and sort of
a unified crew.
A unified crew. Like, they're not exactly well disciplined in a military context, but they do seem to work well together. Yeah. I mean, there's a few interpersonal sort of.
That's what you'd expect on a ship anyway, with so many different people. Yeah. I think he's more just trying to feel of the ship and talk to the crew without he's not being too intrusive. He's just trying to case it out whether it can be trusted, this arrangement, and whether the captain can be trusted.
I mean, if as Ferdinand was, I mean, you can tell Ferdinand does not trust you. Like, the way he's talking,
that's okay. I don't know him. I don't.
He is trying to pick holes in your story. Like, so exactly why were you dressed up as a priest?
I'm quite happy to tell him.
Huh.
Well, it depends on whether you want the long story or the short story.
The true story.
That would be the long story, unfortunately. I went to a tavern. I was having a few drinks. I lost track of things. I saw a number of young ladies leave in said tavern. I followed them. Next thing, when I woke up, I found myself in a convent. And I was missing most of my... Yeah, I know. It's a strange story, but you wanted the long story and the true story. I couldn't find where my clothes were.
And that's the point where Carsten comes over to get you to take you up to the map room.
Ah.
Yeah, finish it later.
Yes. Ah. Mr. Carsten, or is it Mr. Heller? I'm not sure. How would you prefer?
You can call me Carsten.
Ah, thank you. You can call me Antonio or whatever you choose. I've been called many names in my past.
Ah, well, if it's dealer's choice, then I'll do some thinking.
Not all of them polite, to be fair. I must be honest with that. So how can I help?
Well, we are taking you up to the map room, I believe.
That's
Once
good.
Mr. Captain joins us.
Well, I'm familiar with these waters. We'll need to start heading towards Innismore.
No, we have a detour first.
Sure?
Mm-hmm. Captain's ship, whether I'm sure or not, is irrelevant.
It's true. Ship goes where the captain wishes.
And the captain and his crew are, he twists these, folds his fingers.
So lead the way.
Okay. So you're there up to the map room, or down to the map room. I suppose most things are in fact down on the ship.
Yeah.
That's how they work.
Yeah, I'll have Gertie and Hannah with me.
And this is a galaxy map, so we can go to anywhere in the solar system.
Especially with warp speed.
Yeah. So I'll have a wall full of scrolls, like a little makeshift, tiny, like 3 or 4 bookshelf. So, Mr. Castillian, where exactly would you like me to start heading? Where is this fabled treasure?
Innismore.
Okay, well, those waters I'm more than familiar with.
I'm not, which is why, to be fair, I needed to find a crew with a ship that would head that way. I know these waters, but not those waters. I know how to identify the island once we get close to it and the entrance to the ruin. There's a few smaller islands that are very similar to one another, but I can get us in the right direction. And then once we're there, I can pin the location down.
Right, good. Well, we won't be needing maps then. Everyone here knows how to get home. Hannah, take us home. Gertie, keep your eyes on the horizon and behind us. Apparently, there's other people who might be interested in our Castillian friend.
That's a very good point. I've got my suspicions about who it might be. But
Here, maybe you can translate the name. I hand him the transfer orders.
I'll have a look at this. Does it? I can't translate this name or anything. Does it look suspicious to me?
Looking down at the name, you
Knowing the group I'm involved with.
you see this seems more of a scroll that has signed off these orders. It's not a name you recognise. You can just about pick out.
Is there anything on it that would associate with the secret society I'm involved with?
No. It
Okay,
doesn't look
that's good.
like the secret society, but it is sealed with a seal you would recognise. You being more familiar with sort of Castillian goings on, is you don't recognise the scroll or the name itself, but you do recognise the seal beside the orders. As this came from the church.
Ah,
Someone inside the church signed this death warrant.
yeah, he must have taken it quite personally then. He must have stolen some guy's clothes. But that seal there is the church's seal. So it's someone within the church wanted me killed.
You would also know that. Yeah, you would know. You should not have faced death for what you did. That is far outside of the usual punishment.
I mean, I didn't impersonate a priest. I just happened to have a smock on me.
I mean, even if you had
That'll run around-
impersonated a priest.
It was that of running around naked through a convent, which is a bit suspicious in its own right.
But
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a church seal, and it's definitely so it looks like someone inside the church signed this warrant.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't be
would
able to
say,
pin down a name.
Looking at the name, one thing you would be able to say here is it looks almost deliberately scrawly. Like, this is not someone with bad handwriting signing a missive. This is someone signing something in a way to make it
difficult to understand.
Really deliberately difficult to try and understand the name that signed this.
Yeah.
Like, this. would be very hard to trace back to a particular person who signed this.
Yeah. It does look like, I'll relay that to those present, that it does look, it is from the church and someone within the church trying to conceal who they really are. So does tie in with my suspicions that it's the Inquisition.
Could we use scholarship to try and suss out the name? Even if we don't know the name, just get some letters out of it?
I'm saying what I'm saying here is like,
It's a
there is
scribbled,
no
a
name.
deliberate.
This is not a real.
Okay, it's just gobble. Okay.
This is like someone going, someone has definitely got what looks like a real seal, Antonio, you'd recognize, but
Okay.
It's not a real name.
Doesn't seem to look like there even is a name in here. Like, this is just...
It's like a deliberate attempt to conceal who signed it.
Well, that brings up the question then, is it just a forgery and they had the seal and they did the seal? You know?
That's a very good point.
Just saying, hey, look at the church, don't look at us.
Yeah, it could very well be. I just found the whole sentence was a little bit on the harsh side myself.
I agree.
Okay. Well, while the three of you are having this conversation in the map room, Einar, you are still up on deck with Powder, and you hear a shout from the back of the boat. Well, actually, no, you hear a shout from up above, from the watch, and you hear someone say, "Sail! Horizon behind us." So go tell the captain.
Where is Captain's quarters?
It's down below, down the corridor. Mind your head.
Einar will go lumbering in that direction, yelling.
Really mind your head.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, once he gets to where it's more like enclosed, he'll be a little bit more deliberate with his movement, but he'll kind of bellow into the void below deck. We've got sails.
We are on a boat.
Yeah, to the top. Hannah, get everything ready just in case. Start to tell Powder to get the guns ready.
All right.
Yeah, at that point, Einar will go back and then tell Powder what Finley said.
Guns. Right. I mean,
I just yell out, Ferdinand, I need everything the sailors got. We don't know what's coming up behind us.
Sure. Yep. It's a little too small. He passes over the glass to you. A little bit small to make out the details.
Einar has a lot of history with sailing. Is there any way that he could look through the thing to see if he recognizes what it is?
Yeah, take a look. It looks to be you peer through the glass, looking at it, and it's so this is sort of the first light. The light of the sky's cleared a bit, and the first light of dawn is like lighting the sea. Like, none of you slept. You really has, like, it's been a long night. You can just make out that there's a boat. It's not clear yet that it actually is necessarily following you. It could just be a coincidental boat. But it's
A coincidental
behind you.
There's no such thing as coincidental.
That's coming from where we just left.
Yeah, a bit further up the coast from where you left, you'd say.
Okay.
Judging by the angle. From this distance, it looks not dissimilar to your own boat. This looks like a fairly, like, speedy, light, smallish ship. Like, this is a boat that's built for speed. By the rigging.
Can I tell from the sails, like, any sort of allegiance or nationality or anything like that? Like, a color?
It's not got any big, like, we've not got any big emblems on the sails. I don't know what the Thayan equivalent is to, like, the Spanish galleons sailing around with a great big cross on the sails, but it's not got one of those.
Can I tell what the color of the sail is?
Kind of off-white.
Okay. So he'll relay that information to who is Powder's off doing the gun thing, I'm assuming.
Like, it doesn't look like a merchant vessel. This looks like Something that's built to hunt ships.
Yeah. So Einar will give back the spyglass and then relay this to Finley so he can do whatever he needs to do.
We've
It's a small, fast hunter.
no, the Starhopper will give it a race for its money. There's few ships that can outrun us, but I don't think that this is a coincidence and or not something that makes sense for a ship to be following us from the same direction that we just happen to come from a prison break.
And Hannah looks to you, and goes, "What heading?
Home.
Where's home?"
Let's try to lose them around the Montaigne Straits and the southern parts of Montaigne.
Okay. Yes. You want to stick close to the coast or head out further into Widow's Sea?
No, let's stick close to the shore with this one.
Okay.
I want to see what that ship is made of.
All right. And so as you set sail with your crew sort of hurrying into action with this boat on the horizon behind you and the destination in mind, I think that is going to be where we finish for today.